Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Arvindaya. Om Anandamayi, Om Chaitanyamayi, Om Satyamayi, Om Paramayi. O my beloved Lord, let us be thine integrally. Let Lord's divine peace be with us. Om peace, peace, peace. Peace to the mind, peace to the vital, peace to the physical, peace to the emotions, peace to all. Prayers and meditations. May 21st, 1914. Outside all manifestation, in the immutable silence of eternity, I am in Thee, O Lord, an unmoving beatitude in that which out of Thy presence and marvelous light forms the center and reality of the atoms of matter. I find Thee. Thus, without going out of Thy presence, I can disappear in Thy supreme consciousness, or see Thee in the radiant particles of my being. And for the moment, that is the plenitude of Thy life and Thy illumination. I see Thee, I am Thyself, and between these two poles, my intense love aspires towards Thee. Thoughts on the Gita by Sri M.P. Pandit. A study of Sri Aurobindo's essays on the Gita. We said that this avatar is a revelation of the Godhead in humanity. How is that possible? Some theologists and Christians will not admit it, but the Indian system, particularly the Vedantic view, takes it as a logical conclusion because it holds that all existence is a manifestation of God. Therefore, He is the only existence. Normally, God manifests in the form of eminent qualities, characteristic powers, striking capacities. But occasionally, He manifests the whole consciousness. He is the avatar worshipped by humanity all along. If God manifests on earth in human form, what is the relation between man and God? The Vaishnava conception speaks of a permanent relation of God in man and man in God. Nara Narayana, Nara is the man and Narayana is God. They are eternal companions. The Nara Narayana concept is historically associated with a school of philosophy, very old, in which Nara, the human soul, is regarded as the eternal companion of God, and it is only when Nara opens to the influence of Narayana and begins to live in God that he has unity with Narayana. So, the divine soul present in humanity is Narayana. The inner divinity in each person, to repeat what we have said, is the eternal avatar in man. Krishna in the Gita stands for both. He is the special avatar who has come down to push the line of evolution upward to the over-mental level. He also represents God in humanity. From this point of view, the external aspect or the historical aspect is of secondary importance. Whether Jesus lived as the historical personality or he is a later concussion, whether Krishna was historical character or not, is not very important. What is important is the consciousness that is given the name of Christ, of Krishna, the inner Christ, the inner Krishna. The case of Krishna is different because we have plenty of historical testimony to the existence of a teacher called Krishna. In the Chandogya Upanishad, for instance, There is a cryptic reference to how Rishi Gora communicated a Vidya, a science, to Krishna, son of Devaki. Obviously, the son of Devaki was famous. He did not need any further reference to make his identity clear, and that he is the same Krishna who figures in Mahabharata is made clear by reference in the same Upanishad to Dhritarashtra, leaving no doubt that Krishna of the Gita is also the Krishna of the Mahabharata. The relation between Arjuna and Krishna is something that extends beyond one life. We spoke of Naranarayana, God in man and man in God. It is a constant feature of manifestation, the human and the divine. Sri Aurobindo draws pointed attention to the reference of God Indra and Rishi Kutsa driving in the same car. He draws attention also to the famous figure of two birds on the same tree, one higher and one lower. This figure of Naranarayana has played a considerable part in the religious development of Indian consciousness. Life Divine by Sri Aurobindo. The Divine and the Undivine. Page 423. But even when we thus regard the universe, we cannot and ought not to dismiss as entirely and radically false and unreal the values that are given to it by our own limited human consciousness. For grief, pain, suffering, error, falsehood, ignorance, weakness, wickedness, incapacity, non doing of what should be done, and wrongdoing, deviation of will and denial of will, egoism, limitation, division from other beings with whom we should be one. All that makes up the effective figure of what we call evil, or facts of the world consciousness, not fictions and unrealities. Although they are facts whose complete sense or true value is not that which we assign to them in our ignorance. Still, our sense of them is a part of true sense. Our values of them are necessary to their complete values. One side of the truth of these things we discover when we get into deeper and larger consciousness. For we find then that there is a cosmic and individual utility in what presents itself to us as adverse and evil. For without experience of pain, we would not get all the infinite value of the divine delight, of which pain is in travail, all ignorance is a penumbra which environs an orb of knowledge. Every error is significant of the possibility and the effort of discovery of truth. Every weakness and failure is a first sounding of gulfs of power and potentiality. All division is intended to enrich by an experience of various weakness of unification, the joy of realized unity. All this imperfection is to us evil, but all evil is in travail of the eternal good. For all is an imperfection which is the first condition in the law of life evolving out of inconscience, of a greater perfection in the manifesting of the hidden divinity. The Hour of God by Sri Aurobindo. Maya. The world exists as symbol of Brahman, but the mind creates or accepts false values of things and takes symbol for essential reality. This is ignorance or cosmic illusion, the mistake of the mind and senses, from which the magician himself, master of the illusion, is calling on us to escape. This false valuation of the world is the Maya of the Gita and can be surmounted without abandoning either action or world existence. But in addition, the whole of universal existence is, in this sense, an illusion of Maya, that it is not an unchanging, transcendent, and final reality of things, but only a symbolical reality. It is a valuation of the reality of Brahman in the terms of cosmic consciousness. All these objects we see or mentally aware of as objectively existing are only forms of consciousness. They are the thing in itself turned first into terms and ideas born of a movement or rhythmic process of consciousness, and then objectivized in consciousness itself and not really external to it. They have therefore a fixed conventional reality, but not an eternally durable, essential reality. They are symbols, not altogether the thing symbolized, means of knowledge, not altogether the thing known. To look at it from another point of view, existence or Brahman has two fundamental states of consciousness: cosmic consciousness and transcendental consciousness. To cosmic consciousness, the world is real as a direct first term expressing the inexpressible. To transcendental consciousness, the world is only a secondary and indirect terms expressing the inexpressible. Prayer to Sri Aurobindo. To Thee who has been the material envelope of our Master, to Thee our infinite gratitude. Before Thee who has done so much for us, who has worked, struggled, suffered, hoped, endured so much, before Thee who hast willed all, attempted all, prepared, achieved all for us. Before Thee we bow down and implore that we may never forget, even for a moment, all we owe to Thee. Prayer to the Spirit of Aurobindo. Mother, let peace, peace upon all the earth. May all escape from the ordinary consciousness and be delivered from the attachment for material things. May they awake to the knowledge of Thy divine presence, unite themselves with Thy supreme consciousness, and taste the plenitude of peace that springs from this space. Mother, Thou art the sovereign master of our being. Thou law, Thy law is our law, and with all our strength we aspire to identify our consciousness with Thy eternal consciousness, that we may accomplish Thy sublime work in each thing and every moment in this world. Mother, deliver us from all care for contingencies, deliver us from ordinary outlook on things. Grant that we may henceforth see only with Thy eyes and act only by Thy will. Transform us into living torches of Thy divine love to the fellow being in the universe. With reverence, with devotion, in a joyful consecration of my whole being, I give myself, O Mother, to the fulfillment of Thy law. Thank you to the Spirit of Aurobindo, Divine Mother. Peace, peace upon all earth. Thanks for being with me. Wishes from Aurobindo.